Behind the Curtain Live is back on the air here on our Twitch network. What's happening, people? It's good to see everybody back and joining us for what will be a festive evening of wrestling talk and some watch alongs to boot. I am your host. I'm Chris Page. As you can see, well, maybe not because the cameras just went out. Oh, no, they're back. We got, nope, they're gone again. We got Todrick on the right and John on the left. Todrick, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hi, everybody. I'm glad to be here. Very excited about tonight's show. Very excited to just sit here and talk and then watch some good wrestling matches once we get finished with this spotlight. And happy to be here with my two wonderful co hosts.
John, what's up, man? How are you?
Hello. I'm here. I'm doing coffee ready, vape in hand, matches up. I think we're all set.
There's a lot happening and a lot of moving parts. First of all, let me go ahead and tell you guys I have had one hell of a fucking day in Florida today, brother. I had the misfortune of getting a 4:30 a.m. wake up call that you never want, and that is a tree branch breaking off and protruding through your bedroom ceiling. And you can probably hear outside chainsaws are rocking and rolling, so they're still doing their thing to get that stuff cleaned up. Needless to say, I'm here. Did not get a nappy nap in today, so I might be a little grumpy. And if I am, I apologize in advance. That's what happens when you get old. But as Todrick said, we're here for a spotlight. This one too is going to be near and dear to me because anybody who knows me as a professional wrestling fan knows that there's but one name that is the greatest of all time, and I will fight you until the day I die, and that is the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Woo! And we are spotlighting the early years of the Four Horsemen. I'm so pumped and ready to talk about this because really and truly, the Horsemen. There's a lot of moving parts, and at a time for Jim Crockett Promotions, they drew money, and you know, there are reports that say some people say the Horsemen were never a draw. I say fuck you, you're a liar. Go to any arena in Jim Crockett Promotions from '85 to '89, and I beg to fucking differ. We're gonna get into it. I'm ready. You guys ready to rock and roll?
Always.
Absolutely.
Oh, look, see you both talk at the same time. It's great. Well, let's get started. Todrick, I'm gonna pass it over to you. Let's take it away.
Picture it January 1986. This
Sicily.
new stable, right? You like what I did there, right?
Yeah, I caught it.
This stable, known as the Four Horsemen, were formed. So you got Ric Flair and Ric Flair. His storyline cousins were Arn and Ole Anderson. You got Tully Blanchard, and you have James Dillon as their manager. Um, so, fun fact: the Four Horsemen, that moniker was not planned. Can you guys believe that? One of the greatest
Oh yeah.
things, and it wasn't planned. It
Mm.
happened by accident.
So back in the day, you know, and you go back to the '80s, and you would to steal a house, you would put your champions, you'd loop them together, and to either steal a house and or to really put on quality programming. You find people. You got four champions. You find four people to put them up against. Um, what happened here is they were running short of television time, and they had to get everybody in on this interview to sell. I don't remember if it was a pay per view or if it was a house show or whatever it was, but they had to sell it, and they didn't have enough time. So, lost all these cats are on TV, and now they have been loosely affiliated with loose tag matches here and there. And um, but Arn Anderson was coined the phrase. Ever since the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse have there been, finish the fucking sentence. And after that, it's over. The story goes that they finished the interview. They walked off set. Tony Schiavone was right there, and he looked at Arn Anderson and said, "You just named you guys," and off to the races. I mean, it was unexpected. But I'd be hard pressed to have anyone say that the the nature of these guys being together didn't work. Number one, and didn't do what it needed to do. You have to find people, especially in those early territory days, that can go right. And when you find them, you got to stick with them. And Crockett stumbled across, the diamond in the rough as far as factions are concerned. There have been several factions before the Horsemen. Don't get me wrong. The Freebirds come to mind off rip. But as far as like the late '80s, there was no one bigger than the Four Horsemen of Arn, Ole, Tully, Ric Flair, and J.J. Dillon as the mouthpiece. Buddy, it was built for fucking success. John, what are you thinking?
I mean, realistically, if you look at factions in history of wrestling, there are very few factions that have more notoriety and more fame than the Four Horsemen. Maybe the NWO, I think, is the only other faction that can even compare to the amount of notoriety that the Four Horsemen have over the decades that they've been around and together. And realistically, while I may not know a lot about the early years of the Four Horsemen, they've been involved in wrestling for so long that some iteration of the faction has been an influence, if you're a wrestling fan, on what you watch. One form or fashion of another of the Four Horsemen has been on TV prominently while you've been watching wrestling, unless you only picked up wrestling in the last 10 years.
I completely agree. I know at that point in time, I can't remember who all was feuding with who, but I know that Dusty had the book, so obviously he was involved in it. I think Magnum obviously was involved in some stuff early on before his car accident or motorcycle accident
Yep.
that cut his career short. But let's get into it, man. Let's talk about those early days, and when they come together, buddy, all bets are off.
So one thing that was interesting about them is that they always had the most titles in the NWA. And if you go back and you watch those early interviews, they were not afraid to tell you about their success, and they were not afraid to tell you about the women that they were with. Um, that was something that they were notorious for. But you're right, they had a lot of notable feuds, and in those feuds, there were a lot of storyline injuries in that. You
Mhm.
mentioned Dusty Rhodes. They broke his ankle, they broke his hand. Magnum had his own um, issue that you just spoke about. The Rock and Roll Express, when they faced Morton and Gibson, they broke Morton's nose. Nakita Koloff, they injured his neck. So they had these storylines with a lot of names that I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, but they were large and in charge, and they were out there to kick ass and take names. They definitely weren't showing any bubble gum.
Let
So
me
go
Let me
ahead.
touch on this real quick because I remember in the '80s, the night it was the night in the Omni. It was the night I think they broke Dusty's ankle. It was Flair and Nikita Koloff in a cage. The post match saw one of the other Russians jump in, and Dusty came to his aid. He thought that you were going to get this huge babyface turn from Flair, and it was polar opposite. Ole and Arn hit the ring next, and I mean, it was a full scale riot in the Omni. Like Dusty in the South, as far as Southern wrestling, and as far as like up north with WWF. But Dusty was, he was up there. He was almost, untouchable. And here he is, getting, breaking his ankle. And I remember the attack in the parking lot with Ole and Arn when they slammed his wrist in a car door. This is stuff that is, it's probably happened several times in the past, but it's stuff that was so hot at the time
Mhm.
that it just drew everywhere. And when Dusty came back from these injuries, like there's ready-made programs for him with four guys. Same can be said for the Rock and Roll. Same can be said for any babyface that is top tier. You have 4 opponents at any given time to put on any house show, on any television, any pay-per-view, and it's going to draw and it's going to work because of the work ethic with those involved in it. It just was classic fucking wrestling. Like that's when wrestling was wrestling, man. I don't know what to tell you. Like I get so passionate about the old school stuff because that's when you could really suspend the disbelief of this is real. Like
Hmm.
there's something they just broke Dusty's fucking leg, right? They just broke his arm. Uh, I remember the stuff with Ricky Morton that was very controversial at the time because they didn't intentionally break his nose, but they broke his nose and they were rubbing his face in a tile floor. It was just craziness in the height of the 80s, and it's incredible to see now, like to this day, still talked about,
Hmm.
still discussed. There, you know what I mean? Like, so they did something right. And it has to do with not only their work ethic, but who they were involved with at the time too. 'Cause it takes two to tango.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it takes 4.
Depends on the situation.
Right. Well, I mean, and you said it best. This is when wrestling was wrestling, and they weren't breaking character even when they were outside. So they often would take limos to the arena. They were taking jets whenever they were going to the cities that they wrestled in. Flair had Baby Doll for his valet, and she was pretty hot stuff um, back in 1986. So they really were uh, living this lifestyle that they were portraying on the screen. And so when the fans saw them, there was no off switch for this at all. This is what you saw was what you got.
Well, in that era, that was wrestling. Kayfabe was real. Like there was no, like, if you broke it, you were out. Because then what? Like that's your entire draw right there. And realistically, wrestling's taken a hard downturn since the failure of kayfabe. And I know, like, this is why Undertaker took so long to start talking about kayfabe, and the guys from that era. That's why they took so long to come out from behind the curtain and talk about it, because it changed wrestling.
Yeah. No, that's true. And I know another notable feud that they had was with the Road Warriors with Hawk and Animal. So they were feuding with these teams, but you also have to remember a lot of these people during this time they were still going after Flair because they wanted his NWA World Heavyweight title. So you had a lot going on with all these big names, and they're carrying this production, and it's all centered around the
When,
nature boy himself.
like you said, these 4 guys in the early days of the Four Horsemen, they had titles falling out of their ass. Like, there was
Mhm.
always a championship on somebody, if not multiple members. So if it's not, you know, it's if it wasn't somebody coming for a title, it was somebody coming for a slight that they had incurred upon them from one of the horsemen, because they absolutely went above and beyond to just piss people off. It was what they did. And like you said earlier, Paige, you could say that the horsemen didn't fill seats, but realistically, the faces sell the tickets and the heels put the asses in the seats. They want to see the faces win against the heels. But if it's not for the heels, you don't sell tickets ever. And the Four Horsemen always held that role. They always were the guys to beat. They were always that alpha group. They were always the ones that were important, and they were not afraid to challenge you and take a fight to prove it.
They weren't afraid to tell you about it either. Now, we're talking about the early incarnation. I mean, Ric Flair is the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He's been in the title picture at this point for the last 3 years. Um, Arn Anderson and Ole Anderson. First of all, a lot can be said about Ole, and I won't get into the negative aspect of it. I'm going to get into the positive side of it. Here's a guy that was with the Minnesota Wrecking Crew with Gene Anderson. had a very successful run with him for, I don't know, 5, 6, could even been 10-year run. It's within that 5 to 10 years. Um, and turns around when Gene retires and picks right back up with Arn. Has another incredible run with the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. They're the tag champions. Tully Blanchard, show me somebody else in that time and at that time frame. You show me somebody else who was generating real heat, like not go away heat, but and did it by backing up what he was saying. It wasn't a situation where, well, I'm sure, with JJ, he did have some cheating going on, etc. But for the most part, backed his play, and that's fucking important. All these guys walk the walk and they talk the talk. They could back their play up in the ring. They would call themselves the greatest wrestlers on the roster. Tell me where they were lying. Because at one point for a couple of years, it was the Horsemen versus.
The world, basically. But then again, like, not just in the ring either. Show me a better group of guys on a microphone. Show me somebody in a can that can put the energy that they put into the camera work. Show me somebody
What would
better than Arn to slice you apart with a microphone.
it's very rare that you can come across within a faction of talent, which is anything above 2. I would consider it 4 or more to be a faction personally. 3 is a trio.
Right.
But it's very rare that you can get 2 guys that can talk well, let alone 5. 'Cause you've got Flair, who's arguably one of the best promos. Arn can talk his ass off. Ole can talk. Tully can talk, and JJ can talk.
No,
So it
JJ would
was.
work with Mike hard, yeah.
It's the perfect storm, as far as in-ring talent as well as on the microphone. When they would do their promos, Flair would have his spot, Arn would have his spot, so forth and so on. It would always end with JJ, and he would tie a bow on what everybody said and tied everything together, and they did it flawlessly. It
JJ
was
was the like and subscribe king.
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
sure. Where
Speaking
are we going
of,
next, Art?
if you haven't done so already, go down below and click those hearts so we can get to 50 followers here on Twitch.
Let's do that. Haven't already.
All right. So I do want to say special shout out to Jim Cadis in the chat. If you're in the room and you're watching with us, oh, there's Lexi Gold. Hello to you.
Hello,
Um,
hello.
let's keep the chat going, and we'll say hello to you and interact with you because this is live, and that's what we're doing this for, is to interact with each of you. So welcome. If you're watching, please let us know you're here. So let's go to 1987. And let's introduce Lex Luger and Barry Windham to the group. So Lex Luger comes on the scene and he is expressing, I want to be a part of this group. I want to be a horseman. And in that, they already had fame, but shenanigans start to play out. So they start leaving Ole out of stuff. Sort of as a payback because he cost himself and Arn the tag team titles at Starrcade. And then eventually they kicked him out of the group and they welcomed Lex Luger in. So what just happened here? Talk to me, fellas.
Oh, here's what happened. All right, go ahead, Toddy and John. Go ahead and pull your chairs up, grab your pens and your pads. Let's take some notes because we're gonna go to school here. Through the behind the scenes, Ole was his kid. Was doing some. I can't remember if it was high school or middle school. But it was wrestling, and he was. I guess Ole was spending time doing all that. Wasn't making shots or what have you, and was just really trying to wind down. Ultimately, behind the scenes, like that. That's what it boils down to. And it was a way to get Ole out and get Luger in. they were trying to give Luger a rub, a big time right off rip kind of situation. Luger had just come from professional football, um, and they were expecting him to do big things. Like they were tapping him to be, one of the next in line. So who better to learn from than Ric Flair, Arn Anderson, and Tully Blanchard and J.J. Dillon in the ring. Now, there's a big deal outside of the ring. There's clash in styles, and there's clash in lifestyles, if you will. But with Luger's incarnation in the Horsemen, I'm gonna be honest, and this may get me some hate, and that's okay if it does. I wasn't a big fan. I've not, and this is not. It's not necessarily a knock on Luger per se, but I wasn't a fan of him involved in the Horsemen. And I haven't really been a big fan of Luger's in-ring work. Period. There's just there you have those that you like, and you have those that you don't like, and there's Luger was never sold me. Ultimately, is what I'm trying to say. And with him as the Horseman, it was an awkward thing for me because he wasn't as crisp on the mic, wasn't as crisp in the ring. And when you build yourself as the best, and you build yourself as the elite, and this is it, this is the cream of the crop, better fucking deliver. And I don't feel like that connected. Feel like that Luger was way too green at the time, and probably needed a little bit more seasoning, a little bit more ring work. Um, and truth be told, like, tell me something he did as a Horseman, because when I think Horseman, I don't think Lex Luger. I think of two incarnations of the Horseman, and that's the first incarnation, and then it's the incarnation with Barry. To me, that's the Horseman. That's just a me thing. Anything else is just fabrication. It's a nostalgia act, because they can't touch the in ring work. Luger wasn't ready, and it showed. It kind of exposed the Horsemen a little bit because they're not the best. They're better. There were better pieces of talent out there that could have occupied that spot, and you could have still built Luger up to be what you wanted him to be. Um, that wasn't for me. On, let me get your thoughts on Lex Luger and the Four Horsemen.
So I was not around watching wrestling in his first iteration as a Horseman, but he had a second iteration as a Horseman much later on, and I didn't like that iteration of him either. I don't think that his style fits what the Horsemen do. He was always a power player. He didn't do flying shit. He didn't do technical shit. He didn't take the match to the mat. He wanted to punch and kick and pick you up in the air and do things with you. That was Lex Luger's shtick. He put you up in the air and he used his muscles. He went to the gym. He didn't have the high profile and lifestyle that the Horsemen were known for. It didn't suit his character. I don't think it was great. To be fair, in the second iteration of Luger's run, I think that Roma made a better Horseman than Luger did, and that's saying a lot. I think if they wanted to fill that role, there was a perfect guy around for it that never got tapped and should have been, and that was Paul Orndorff.
That's an interesting name to throw out there.
I think
Right.
his style was much more what the Horsemen needed to fill that role when Ole left than what Luger brought to it. I think there were definitely better talents that were more suited to the role, that were better suited to the rest of the group, and would have made a very interesting run with the Four Horsemen.
I agree 100%. And like I said, it's not that I have a problem with Luger.
No, I
On a
loved
personal
Luger
level.
as a face. I loved him and Sting running around. He did lots of other angles that I thought were great. He had great feuds and great matches, but I don't think that was a good place for him. I think it was horribly misbooked.
What was your give me a great Lex Luger match?
Well, I mean, besides the iconic Yokozuna on the battleship,
That wasn't a match. That was a body slam challenge.
Hey, listen, you shush.
That
It was
wasn't a match.
it was
Give me-
iconic and legendary.
So, I just want to make sure that I'm hearing you correctly. So give me a Lex Luger match that was classic.
When him and Sting were feuding, I really liked the feud that they had. When with the backstab angle.
The match itself, you think that's a great match.
Him and Sting had several good matches. I also liked lots of it.
Good's not the word. We're talking about great, John.
No, I don't. He doesn't have a match in my top 10. He does. Is that what you want to hear? Does that make you happy?
What's that?
He doesn't have a match in my top 10. Does that make you happy?
I'm just saying that doesn't make him great.
No, not at all.
I'm just having fun.
Stand in your truth. Stand in your truth.
That's
reality is I mean, again, you got to tell me something Luger did as a Horseman. You know, something that we didn't talk about that we need to jump. I want to jump back on. I want to talk about the importance of War Games.
Yeah.
Because the initial run of War Games was built around the four horsemen of Rick, Arn, Ole, Tully, and J.J. Dillon against Dusty, the Road Warriors, Paul Ellering. God damn, who was the other cat?
Koloff.
Koloff, Nakita Koloff.
yeah, Nakita Koloff, yeah.
And War Games is an event that is now been picked up again, you know, more modernly with the WWE. You want to talk about, you know, something that was very just a happening, if you will, because it's never been done before.
Yeah, innovation.
One big fucking cage, cell. It's just one of those moments that only happens once. You only get one first on television, and to have the pressure of that on all 10 of those individuals, for them to go out and deliver, and in reality, for the first few years, War Games was built around the Horsemen. Who's facing the Horsemen this year at War Games? You know, it's just one of those.
Well, I
kind
mean,
of situations.
who was on that end of the spectrum that could have held up that whole side? The Horsemen. It's like Thanksgiving football. Detroit plays, the Redskins play, Cowboys play. Like, and then it's who's going to play the three teams that always play. Well, let's see.
And well, let's not forget that, you know, this iteration of War Games is different than what you see. During this iteration, you had to make people submit.
Mhm.
So it wasn't this. You could do
Yeah, it wasn't just
pinfalls,
pins.
you know.
No, you had to go. You had to make somebody quit the match.
Mhm.
Exactly. And I think that first one, JJ ended up losing for the Horsemen. But I just wanted to circle back around because once we started talking about Luger, I was like, we did not even touch on the significance of War Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Luger's in. There's not a whole lot happening, if memory serves, with Lexi and his. Not to be confused with Miss Lexi Gold. She's a saint.
We
But
love
with Lexi.
Well, we clearly didn't like him, so why don't we move to when he gets kicked out of the group?
Thank God
Do
for
that.
that too.
Let's-
Thank God for that.
Let's kick him out of the group here. So he gets kicked out of the group because he blames JJ Dillon for costing him the US title because JJ tried to cheat and it backfired. So he ends up losing the US title. So is that a satisfying end to that saga for you guys?
It works out for me. I didn't like that run with his belt anyway.
What year was that?
We are still in 87, getting ready to move into 88. So when we move into 88, we're going to bring Barry Windham.
And
Well,
this,
Big Barry turned on Luger. Is that where we're going?
that's where we're about to go.
and this iteration of the Horsemen was my first interaction when I started watching wrestling. You know, like 8, 9, 10 years old. This was my first, like, oh, the Four Horsemen. because this was the iteration that was around when I was a kid.
Yeah. So we're in January of '88. He teams with Barry Windham because he wants to feud with the Horsemen now. I guess he thinks he's somebody. They even managed to beat Anderson and Tully Blanchard.
Don't you need somebody to love? Sorry.
No, I think we're alone now.
No, it was appropriate, you know.
There's a lot of people around though.
I know so much love to give tonight. But he and Barry, they end up beating Anderson and Blanchard for the tag team titles. But after that, around April time frame, I guess old Barry had enough of Luger and he turned on him. What say you, gentlemen?
Hallelujah. Now we've gotten another, someone who is a wrestler like Barry Windham. I mean, territory wrestling down in Florida. He was the heavyweight champion for Florida's territory, or junior heavyweight champion. I mean, he belts galore in the territories. Credible, has credibility. So I was all for this, and the fact that not this is so gonna sound like I hate Lex Luger, but I truly don't. I just don't like him in this era. But to know that the turn happened at Luger's expense, just made it taste so much sweeter. It's almost like it was from Sweetwater, Texas.
John, what are your thoughts?
No, I think Wyndham was a much better horseman than Luger could have ever been. When Wyndham turned and went with the Horsemen, he actually fit the look and the feel. While he didn't have the same lifestyle in character that the other guys had and that they portrayed, he fit in well as like just the bruiser in the background that was just there to fuck shit up because the Horsemen were the baddest bitches in the ring.
They were. And it's funny that you say that because remember, so Flair's the heavyweight champion, Wyndham's the US champion, and Arn and Tully are the tag team champions. They are on top of the world. They own everything. And again, they are not showing bubblegum. They are kicking ass out there in the ring. They own the company, pretty much. So they had that success. But then around September, Anderson and Blanchard, they left and they joined WWF. They dropped the tag titles to the Midnight Express. And that was sadly the first departures. But Flair, Wyndham, and Dillion, they continue to refer to themselves as the Horsemen. And, they teased bringing in new members. Excuse me. So with that, we're gonna go to let's see, look at the time. We're gonna go to February of '89, and Barry's brother Kendall Windham. It looks like he's joining, and he's gonna make that fourth because he turns on Eddie Gilbert during a tag team match. I don't remember this. Do either of you remember this?
I totally remember this, and it never came to fruition. Thank God. So I mean, reality is
Must have been
this.
really short lived because I definitely do not remember this.
It was because when Tully and Arn jump, like, the truth of the matter is they go to Crockett. They want to raise. They cite what they've done for the business. Crockett didn't feel like what they were worth, what they were asking, so they went to Vince. Had a really good run up there too. I think that should really close the book on this part of the Horsemen that we're talking about, because with them gone, when they come back, Flair's on his way out.
Yeah.
And they didn't really have a Horseman. And I think this is back. Is this when Hiro Matsuda had the Matsuda Corporation? Is where I think that's where that's going, which is a different thing the whole way around. So reality is this: when we talk about those early years of the Horsemen, you've got Fire is Flair, Blanchard, Norn with JJ. That's the territory on Fire. Luger was just kind of the in the equation, and they really had something going with Barry. Now, here's the question that I kind of want to pose to you guys, and even you guys in the chat. If you want to chime in on this question, go right ahead. What do you think would have or could have happened if Arn and Tully didn't go to New York? If they would have continued moving forward, do you think that they would have reached the height or surpassed the height of the Ole run within the Horsemen? If again, it's hypothetical armchair quarterback. If Arn and Tully stick around, Arn, Tully, Barry, Flair, JJ. On, let me go over to you first.
So I think the biggest factor that I consider when you ask that is during the Ole run with the Horsemen, wrestling was only so big on a national scale. Yeah, you had territories, yeah, you had stuff going on. But then when you get into the later 80s, that's when national contracts are starting to go. That's when WWE starts really kicking up and it becomes a much bigger thing. The late 80s, early 90s was a much better scene than we had seen for wrestling, and technology was getting better and better. TV production was becoming their focus, not just having good house shows, but getting good television. So I think that the Tully Blanchard run with Barry Windham, or the Tully and Ole leaving, and the new iteration. I think the new iteration with Barry Windham actually had a better chance of gaining more notoriety just because of the widespread nature of what wrestling was about to do.
Sure.
Yes.
Go
So
ahead, Todd.
I I don't know. We've talked on previous things and different shows that you guys have done, and I think that um it had ran its course, so to speak, because one of the things that made all these different territories so popular is how these guys were moving around. So I think that around that time, a change did need to happen, and that was just part of that successful mantra that they had back then. And as John stated, they are trying to focus on TV. They're focusing on different things. So I think that they needed to leave because even now as we speak, when Wyndham leaves and we get another iteration of them that is just as good. So I think that the members, yeah, you do gotta keep switching it up. Um, I don't know. I hope that made sense.
Let me tell you something that does make sense. Is the legacy that the Horsemen arguably left, especially this early incarnation. Now, there's a lot about the Horsemen that we could talk about, but we'll be here for 3 hours, 4 hours. We're not doing that tonight.
Yeah.
So we're going to break this down, and we're going to come back around, here in a couple of weeks, maybe, maybe a month or two, and circle back around, do another piece of this. Because, again, they're still looked at as the arguably one of the greatest factions of all time. Uh, and when you talk factions, you talk Horsemen, you talk NWO, you talk Generation X, talk the Freebirds. Like those are the ones that come back to my head, right off the bat. Now you did give out a little teaser earlier about watch-alongs, and you would be correct. We've got a couple of surprises, and you heard me correct when I said a couple. Wink, wink. I want to take everyone back to. Before I do that, I do want to preface this. I have not seen either one of these, so I don't know what's going to happen. We're going to get live reactions, at least from my side of the coin. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you've seen these two before. Have you seen these matches before?
I
Mhm.
mean, maybe.
I mean, that's where I'm at. It's going to be a hit or miss. Um,
Yeah, maybe.
This first one is October. This is a couple of days before Halloween, October 28th, 1986. Ric Flair, Ole and Arn Anderson. They're going to be taking on the team, the six-man team, if you will, of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, the Rock and Roll Express. Let's jump into this. Are you guys ready?
I am ready.
Oh, yeah.
Chat guys, are y'all ready to jump into this? This is some old school shit.
Come on. Can I stop getting stuck in the transition, though?
Eventually.
No? No,
Nope.
I cannot get stuck in the transition.
Nope.
Wow.
Can't see John's head.
I mean, I'm here. I'm almost invisible.
Put your head down.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Why? Why is that? Like
I don't know, brother.
Is your camera good?
Huh.
While John's trying to figure that out, we'll give him a minute or two.
I mean, we'll just go ahead and start up, and I'll work on it. I'll figure it out. But
Alright,
I'm ready to
give us
go
a
when you are. Let's
Yeah, give us a countdown.
3, 2, 1.
I'm so ready for this. Oh, this is in Japanese. This is gonna be great. I told you I never hit play, so
This will be great.
I have no choice but to call this one. Here comes the rock and roll. Look how fucking young they look, man. Like, I just can't get over it.
Security had to link arms to get them out there.
Yeah, because, like, listen, the chicks would pull them in and would be all over them. Copping feels, we're talking butts, we're talking balls, we're talking as much as they can get. Some of these baby faces. You should look at World Class. Pull up like Kevin and Kerry Von Erich. They would come to the ring like they would literally be pulled into the crowd by like 4, 5, 6, 7 at a time. All of them trying to get kisses, yeah. Oh, hey, we got a commercial.
Amazing.
Oh, no, we got to play it. This is totally original.
It's right there.
It is absolutely Japanese
This is an
commercials.
Absolute original commercial. 1985, guys. Check this shit out. You have to excuse the background noise. The landscaping guys are just now done dealing with the tree and Hulk's going ape shit in the spare room. Sorry.
Yeah, we're about to do play-by-play, Jim. No problem. It'll be fine.
Oh, I know. Yeah. That's definitely happened. Sorry, Jim. Catching up on the chat. These are old school Japanese commercials. That makes this much better. I've never seen the commercial. All right, here we go. Nope. I'm a couple seconds ahead.
Oh, I'm ahead of you. And bam. We're
All right, so look, so
Hands
Dusty's,
back
Dusty's hands in the cast, right? So
Yeah.
this is not too long after they broke Dusty's arm.
Is that Ole there?
Huh?
Is that
Yeah,
Ole
Ole
there in the
Anderson.
match? Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's working over.
Man,
Rick
he is
right off rip.
he is looking
Oh,
damn right off the cage. Yeah, Ole's
Right
looking
hand.
fit and ready to go in this thing, man. Damn. Oof.
Where
Playing a
we
rope
at at
dope with
that?
his face. Tag to Arn.
Here comes Arn. This was one of my favorites too as a kid, man. Between Arn and Rick, it was a toss up.
Oh, and Dusty wants him some Anderson.
Oh, he does. But Arn telling him, check it. Check it.
Check. It's a cast, bro. What are you checking?
Check it. Doesn't matter. You're a heel. You're going to ask him to check it anyway.
Ooh, daddy.
Oh, he's strutting ass, baby. Here we go.
Arn's just pissed off. If looks can kill, baby.
Arn is definitely not impressed.
We got a collar elbow tie up here. Arn trying to push Dusty back, and he does. I'm amazed he got to overpower him like that. Big fist to the gut there.
Working that over.
Oh, lariat right out of the corner. Arn overselling the shit out of it, too. Yeah, Jim, you are not wrong. Him and Ole both are looking like $1,000,000 here.
You guys
Dusty
know
just-
what I look for. The Flair match.
Flair flop, baby. It's got to be a flop somewhere.
Thank you for that, Toddy. He didn't hear it.
Flair finally making his way into the ring.
We go.
Yeah, yeah. Woo! That's right.
Now you're gonna get your ass kicked. His ass swimming. He stepped in that ring. Let's go.
Dusty just mocking the shit out of him.
He sure did.
Flair takes him in a side headlock, switch around, and a reversal back into a hammerlock. Got that wrist drag. Big right to the shoulder there.
Here comes Ricky Morton. Let's go.
Oh, Flair flips him around, drives that shoulder into the gut, and keeps him in the corner. Those big chops, fists flying in from everywhere.
On is going ham.
I was literally sitting here thinking that. I was like, I had my moment in the sun. This is John's moment.
I mean, we've been requested to play by play, so I'm doing my job. We got Flair locked up in the corner.
You are doing it very well.
Big shoulder block.
Yeah.
Woo!
Robert. That's somebody else. Like we were talking about Ole and Arn, or Ole and Lars Anderson earlier. Robert Gibson is another one. He teamed with his brother Ricky Gibson before Ricky Morton came into the picture. I mean, it was just another one of those things. Like,
This is devolved into a Donnybrook, is what this is.
This is a full-blown shit show. We have all six.
Yeah, these guys have just paired up and are going to town.
I don't know why we didn't start this way, because there's no DQ in a cage, so I don't, why did?
Well, because you got to work up to it in this era, man. You got to work up to it. You can't just jump into the shit show. You got to make it a shit show. Big reversal, catches the boot, the center of the ring, enziguri to the back of the head.
Arn flopping around there. Oh, Ole can get you some too, buddy.
Well,
I thought we were going to see a drop kick.
It was entertaining.
Thought we were about to get
It's still possible.
Oh, rake of the eyes. Oof. Boot to the gut, right hand.
Flair just launches him face first into the cage there. Wonder if we're gonna get some blood the hard way in this.
I'm waiting for it. It's a cage match.
Yeah, I almost expect it. Yeah.
Odds are, who's getting color?
He's just scraping his face on the cage.
Flair is gonna mess up that pretty blonde hair.
I'd be more worried about the Rock and Roll Express bleeding right now, to be fair. Goes for the shoulder block, but Arn sees it coming. Right back to the gates. Come on.
I mean,
They are loving that cage right now.
he ran into a brick wall. I don't know what you expected there.
He's rubbing the back of his head into the cage now.
Ole's in trouble in his corner.
Flair, look at Flair being smart, bringing his ass right back into the ring and going right back to the cage.
Yes, Jim, you're right. Red does look good in Flair's Goldilocks.
It does. That's fact. I think Arn split.
Arn said, "Listen, boy, let me show you how you do it."
No, I think he's split. I think he's bleeding first.
Oh no.
Oh. Is this where Flair gets it too?
Oh.
Oh.
Oh, Flair cuts him off just before the corner. But he is in danger space.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Uh-oh.
Flair, poor
There it
Flair.
is. You can't see what they're doing, but they got a hold of that forehead.
Oh, he goes down.
Flair's just trying to take the back mount, goes for front chancery, but he reverses through. What is he? He's just rolling around. I mean, it's being effective, but...
It's amateur wrestling. Flair was a great amateur wrestler. Oh.
Oh, those chops are just evil. We finally get the hot tag come in. Flurry of boots through the ropes.
The Energizer Bunny. Oh, Flair ate the steam.
Oh, no, he is now, though.
All Dusty's got his ass. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's wide open. Yeah, Dusty just got Flair on the fence. Arn's bleeding, so that's two of them and none of the other guys yet.
Look at him bouncing on the ropes doing these punches.
Atomic drop. Blocked. Knocked him up. Saved by Arn. Here comes Ole. Looks like we're going to break down one more time into a old fisticuffs.
Yep, another slobber knocker is about to break out. Here we go. All 6 men back in the ring. We've all paired up.
Gives no fucks.
As he should be. Oh. Oh, pretty sure that was his split. Oh, right to the face.
Yes, he did. Dr. Britt Baker will be waiting for you, Mr. Morton.
Oh, those hands on Ole are just anvils.
Oof. That reminds me of like a Jim Duggan punch right there.
It might be worse, to be fair. Like, I don't think Duggan ever hit anybody with malice with those big meat fists of his, but Ole always hits you with ill intent. Oh, big DDT drop.
Oh, he did get the DDT. You're a split second ahead. Do want to say we got another match to watch after this, and then if you stick around, I have a question that I want to ask Todrick live on the air that he has no idea is coming.
I'm almost terrified.
You might want to stick around.
I'm just here to look pretty.
Oh no, I got a question for you. Now it's breaking down. All hell's breaking loose here, guys. They came to see a fight, and they are getting a fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is utter mayhem right now. Like, there's no order. The referee's just running around. They got it. Who was that? Was that
Over?
Arn? No, Ole
That's
got the
Ole.
pin on Dusty.
Did Dusty get the pin on? Oh,
No, Ole got the pin, I think. Or are they celebrating? Maybe Dusty
know. I
did get
heard
the
a bell.
pin. It was
I
hard to
heard a
tell
bell.
with everything going on in the corner there what was going on.
Okay.
I think Dusty got the pin. Dusty got the pin on Ole there. Again, like this is just they draw the house. The fans show up to see them get their ass kicked, and they didn't necessarily get their ass kicked, but they take the loss. This was.
Okay. Good.
Okay, so we're about to see it.
Ugh, that's a hell of a belly to belly off the ropes. You do not want Dusty landing on you like that.
Oh. You know, even though there was all that chaos that was going on, and I truly didn't see who did what to whom, I'm not mad at it.
No, I'm not mad at that
They
either.
did.
That was a good match.
I'm not mad at it.
So to highlight another piece of the Horsemen, Tully wasn't involved in that, so I found a tag match, and I think this is this Arn and Tully versus who, John?
This is Arn Tully versus Dusty Rhodes and Nakita Koloff from January 2nd, 1988. So this is a few years after this, or after that first match. And you know, that first match, the one we just watched, I think the pacing of that match was really good, and I think that's why it was not something that, you know, that we were mad about, because the pacing was so good. They kept the thing like. They'd pair off and do a little bit in ring, and then it would break down again, and they'd get it all situated and go back outside, and then they'd break down again, and they kept it interesting. It was entertaining to see it.
Well, I was going to do that after we watched them both, but okay.
So before we go forward, special shout out to Vector 2007. That's where we got this match from. So make sure you check out that channel and see what content that they have. All right, let me pull up the other one.
And this new match is on Monsoon Classic, so make sure to check out their content and give them a like and follow too. If you've enjoyed this video so far, you know, don't forget us down below with the little hearts.
Hearts, love, all that. Let's go. Let's get into this one. Ready,
All right.
Toddy?
If we are all ready, all right, we're going to go play on the second match in 3, 2, 1.
I'm already excited about music.
And dude, this almost looks like a movie set about wrestling.
Right.
So Nakita Koloff, they had to turn him babyface after the Magnum incident. Magnum and Dusty were America's team or something, and I forget what Dusty and Nakita called themselves. They got some tag straps.
They do.
They got some tag straps too.
Champion versus champion.
When everybody's wearing a title, I hope so. Or unless you're unifying belts.
There's those 80s physiques.
You know it.
There's something to be said about a man with gut armor, all right? If you're ever about to get into a brawl, you damn sure don't want to fight the guy that's all shredded. He's not using usable muscle. The dude that looks like he's been a plumber half his life, that's the guy that's scary strong. I'm just saying.
I don't fight. I'm just trying to look cute.
That's,
I'm reformed. I'm reformed.
Oh, look at Dusty.
The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes.
well, they don't have tag titles. They were holding individual belts. Nakita and Dusty were just then.
The TV and the U.S. title, I believe.
Here at ringside, anticipating this great special challenge match.
Yeah, Lexi, you're right. It is dangerous watching these matches because it makes you wanna like try new things.
I like. Nope.
Old is new again.
Nope. I'm gonna just sit over here in my shaded camera space and not worry about it.
I think you need to get your. I don't know. What was wrong with that statement? To draw a note.
Just Lexi talking about temptation to do new things, and I don't need to go there. We're live.
I'm gonna poke the bear, Lexi.
I knew it wasn't me.
By all
I
means.
am the innocent.
Nope. So this match, we got Koloff and Tully in the ring.
And you see Arn in the background there claiming that Nakita grabbed the hair. But
Great example of 1988. Yeah.
strength for strength. But Tully is a veteran. He's quick.
I mean, in the corner is far better than in the shell, Jim. I'm just saying.
See right there. There's an instant. Right
Lock
there.
up. That's needed the
Nakita
midsection.
Koloff says no.
Real quick. You want to throw hands? Let's go.
Look at that speed.
Well, and Tully
Look at
thought
that.
running around the outside and coming through would give him an advantage, and it does not against the Koloff. No.
You notice that time Tully looked up at Arn. Arn looked down at him and was like, what should we do next?
The face Tully's making tells you everything you need to know about that scoop slam.
Move right here.
Oh.
Nakita had the momentum, and he just stopped it dead cold by his actions outside of the ring and by what he's doing now.
Arn knee left.
Koloff goes under and goes for a shoulder rock, but Arn sees it coming forever ago.
He says, nope, not today.
I'm out.
Time out.
Time
Time out.
This is Jim. This is like mid to late 80s wrestling when it isn't a technical matchup. These guys are all brawlers. This style is like the Americans' version of strong style. It's not quite as hard hitting, it's not quite as brutal, but it definitely does the thing that strong style Japanese wrestling does.
Do the thing, Jury.
He's going right in after Dusty. Oh, look at the jabs. Nope, Dusty. Drop down, atomic drop into Arn. Looking for a figure four. Why not?
Oh, am I ahead of y'all? I'm ahead of the broadcast. But it sounds like I need to stay where I am. 'Cause it
I'm
sounds
at
like
543, 544, 545.
Oh. Okay.
Arn coming in the ring behind the referee's back. Dusty catches the boot.
Yeah, Dusty says nuh-uh. Dusty says no. You better capitalize while you can, homie, or he's gonna get you. That's Arn Anderson. You don't just sit there with him on the mat. Oh, with the toe hold. Come on. You want to do it some more.
I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna get you.
Oof, big
Fucking Amy
elbow
what, bro?
drop.
I did nothing. I'm just giving you info, bro. That's why you come here to watch the show. It's to learn things. We had our notepads out earlier and everything.
Big elbow.
Arn with the cheap eye rake to get out.
Gotta do what you can, man.
I don't think hitting Dusty in the gut with a left is the... Oh, but that knee lift might do it.
Oof. And Arn's going up.
And going right back down.
Yep, bad news written all over it.
Ugh.
Down.
It's that whole what goes up thing right there. Oh, Dusty with that big bull rope lariat, man. Those arms are no joke coming across that neck. Right into the sleeper.
I like that lariat. That lariat looked good. Oh, Tully. Tape machines are rolling.
Apparently.
Stay tuned. The match will continue.
And it
Here
did.
we go.
With Arn Anderson just cheating his ass off to get leverage on that corner. Right over the back of the ref.
Now he's gonna, they're right on top of the referee with it. Tully.
Yeah, I think he saw it that time, but it doesn't matter. Dusty got that boot up. And Arn with the hot tag sends Tully in, and Dusty doesn't even know what's going on right now. Oh.
Ooh.
That is not good for the elbow and shoulder of Dusty Rhodes. Inverted hammerlock.
Nice.
Arn with the tag, comes off with a big fist to the shoulder off the second rope. Right back into that arm bar. Spins through the top wrist lock there. Big open hand chops from Dusty Rhodes. That is, and a tag. Do you see Arn with the ring awareness? Locks his ankle with his and holds him off from getting the tag.
Goddamn right.
Oh. Dusty just flattened Tully Blanchard and a tag again.
This is classic Horseman.
Yeah.
And this is what made Horsemen so scary in tag matches, because they had this hot tag, they had the ring control, they had the cutoff, they had the ring awareness. They knew what they were doing in there, and they did it better than almost anybody. And they've had so long to work together that they know exactly what each other's doing.
I definitely enjoy tag matches where they do good tag work like that and you cut the person off. I mean, it can last for so long, but I love seeing stuff like this.
Dusty with those big open hand chops again. Make it distance and get a big old elbow smash. Oh, but Tully, the shuffle kick to the face.
Oh my.
Oh, Tully.
Tully.
Good luck.
Uh-oh.
Good luck, homie. That's all. Nope.
Dude.
Dusty said no. Suplex reversal.
Are we gonna get the tag?
Not this
Nakita
time.
gonna get the hot tag? No.
Nope.
Get off again.
Oh. Dusty cuts him off and just lays his leg over. Like he's just resting his balls on the back of Arn's head right now.
Teabag on television. Teabag on television.
No.
I didn't know Dusty played Halo.
Again, I'm the innocent one of the group.
No, I'm definitely not it. We finally get the tag to Nakita, and he comes
Here
in
we
like a
go.
man on
Nakita
fire.
Yeah, man, here we go. He's about to
Back
lay
elbow,
some
scoop slam, big ol' right.
You get a
Koloff
scoop
is
slam.
just
You get a scoop slam.
exactly. He is the Oprah Winfrey of wrestling right now, and he is just laying Tully Blanchard with those big right hands. Reversal did not stop him. Catches him with that clothesline. But Arn with the save and Dusty with those big open hands.
Here we go. The
Oh my god, that just
breakdown.
looks like it hurts.
Oh, it's a DQ. Arn Anderson throws the Koloff right over the top of the rope.
Oh,
At this particular
Flair.
era, that is a disqualification, and Flair has got Koloff by the face with that pole. Tully and Arn are in the center of the ring just tearing Dusty apart.
this
Is that Lex?
classic Horseman.
No, it's one of the rock and roll, right? Or who is? No, it is Luger.
It is Luke.
It is Luger. It looked like Morton for a second there. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
He's just chasing Arn into the crowd.
80s, brother. 80s. It's a pretty big house there, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is when NWA was actually still drawing.
That, my friends, is some vintage Horsemen. I was trying to find a full War Games match that we could take a look at, but it just didn't happen. So Horsemen matches. Audie, give me your thoughts.
All right.
Do not destroy your camera. It's not worth it.
No, that was my phone. It fell off the laptop. I had it hanging on the laptop so I could watch the chat. All right. So the matches, right? I love the pace of both of those matches. I loved the tag team work in the one that we just watched. I loved how their styles all complemented each other. Everybody had their moments where, they shined. Dusty looked amazing in there. But you could tell that these guys were meant to work together. They told a story which I absolutely loved. So everything that we talked about in the spotlight, I could see it in the two matches that we watched. So that was immensely gratifying for me. When you talk about something and then you can turn around and see it in action, because it's almost like you just kind of want to prove. I kind of knew what I was talking about, so I wasn't just talking out of my ass. And I really enjoyed both of those matches for that reason. I mean, this is, like you said, this is when wrestling was still wrestling. Everybody had, different styles. So while you may not have gotten a whole bunch of crazy movements, you were entertained and you really got your money's worth. And I think that that's what's important, is when people get their money's worth. But it was just enough to make you want to see what happens next. And I can see why they were drawing and selling out arenas the way that they were. And it's still crazy to me that all of this happened and it was an accident. It wasn't even supposed to happen. So match scores. For the first one, I will give the first one. I'm kind of at an 8 with that first one. Like I said, to me, I don't think that it took away, even though I didn't see what happened at the end because it was just so much going on. I don't think it took it away, because that's the type of match that they were in. It was supposed to be chaos. For the one that we just saw, I really like the tag work. I really like how they cut them off and they look like a very seasoned team. You could tell that they were good and you see why they are together. I think I'll also give that one an 8. 8's across the board.
Give me your thoughts on, I thought that was vintage Horsemen, both matches. I thought it really cements to me why they are who they are.
No, I completely agree. I think it showed like Toddy was saying when we were doing the spotlight part. We talked about how they had this mentality as a group, and they did not give a shit who you were. They were absolutely willing to take any challenge and go out there and really get in the ring and fight you about it. And they had a reputation for being the baddest bitches in the ring for a freaking reason. You see it right here. They went in ham 100% the whole time. And while I think the first match was really well paced. The first match had a lot of good things going on. I think I'm going to go a little lower score than Toddy on that one. I think I'm going to give that one a 6.5. Mostly because the chaos of it was a little bit distracting to me. I want to see the individual interactions, but I get the cage match feel and the stuff. But the second match, I'm actually in agreement with Toddy on the second one. The second one was an 8, even though it had a disqualification. In the rules that were in and of the era, I see where it happened. I also see, what was going on in the match, but I give it the 8 because of the tag work and the ring control and the really seeing, like Dusty and Koloff had great talent, but they were not a tag team like the Four Horsemen were. And you could see the teamwork in the match, and I think it played up well. I think I'm in full agreement on the 8 for the second match.
There's no denying the legacy that the Horsemen left. This is just part one of what will probably be a two-parter. Went up, we'll do the second part. I don't know, a month or so. We got a couple other things to do first, but we'll circle back around for sure. We do have there's a spotlight that we had recorded before we started doing live shows on Jim Cornette that I figure we can just come back and do live next week, and go from there, and we'll rewatch the infamous videos that we checked out. No spoilers to those in the chat. And we'll just get their reactions as well. What we could do is watch back your initial reactions to the first video, and that's all I'll say. If you guys want to, there's a couple of things we could do. Ultimately, though, guys, at the end of the day, the Horsemen are who people aspire to be in professional wrestling. He looks like he has a lot to fucking say.
I can't wait till we get up there.
Give me your closing thoughts on the Horsemen, and then John, take us home. And for those of you in the chat, we'll see you again Sunday night for Brawl Talk Live. It'll be the first time that we do that. Back again live on Monday. Match watch alongs. We want you to pick what you feel like is the best match of all. And I really enjoyed the bonus content for you guys in the chat. I'm glad you guys enjoyed that as well. So, Toddy, final thoughts. Spotlight on the Horsemen.
The Horsemen. No matter what evolution of the stable that there has been, the effects of that stable are still being felt today. And I think that a lot of stables try to model the success that they had. And, the original incarnation, it was one of a kind. You guys said it best. You've got 5 people, strong mic skills, strong wrestling skills. It's no wonder that they had the NWA on lock with all those championship belts. And the fact that they lived it in the ring, out of the ring, it was amazing. They definitely had a huge impact on this business, and I think that the business is better for it. So I certainly appreciate their contributions.
Take us home, John. I'm wiping tears out of my eyes.
At least that's what you're wiping out of your eyes. Jesus. Guys, if you've enjoyed this as much as we have, just know that we love sharing our passion for wrestling with each and every one of you. We love each and every one of your faces. If you guys have not done so already and you're catching us here on Twitch, go down below, click those hearts. We're shooting for 50 subscribers here, or 50 followers here. And if you're catching us later on YouTube, Don't forget to go down below and follow our links to the Twitch channel, follow our links to the Discord, where you can get behind the curtain with us and share your favorite matches so that we can see your historical moments and your historical favorites, and we can share those with the rest of the world out here while we do what we do here. You know, while you're down there, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Drop those savage elbows right there on that ding bell so you never miss a beat behind the curtain with all of us here. It has been a pleasure. It has been an entertaining evening, to say the least. We love each and every one of your faces, and we'll see you
But
again
we
next
prefer
time.
a toothbrush with you.
There's no telling what you'll see when you're on Behind the Curtain Live.